In many parts of the world, gateways, doorways, and transitional zones have been guarded by protective entities and sometimes formalized in artwork. Some of the most spectacular examples have been the giant-sized statues, known as Lamassu, that flanked the gateways into ancient Mesopotamian cities, temples, and palaces. In ancient Assyria specifically, the Lamassu was depicted as a human-headed bull, or sometimes a human-headed lion with wings. Twinned pairs of Lamassu were stationed at major entrances. Among the most famous of the ancient Assyrian Lamassu were the enormous statues at Khorsabad, where they were installed around 710 through 705 BC toward the end of the reign of King Sargon II. The word and the core concept of Lamassu can be traced back much older into ancient Sumerian time, mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh around 2100 BC and then undergoing various iterations generally after 1800 BC. The oldest known version of the Lamassu during ancient Sumerian time was a protective deity that encompassed all aspects of life. Several centuries later, a more specific iconography of the Lamassu was known during the kingdoms of ancient Assyria, starting at least as early as the time of King Tiglath-Pileser II around 967 through 935 BC. By the time when the Epic of Gilgamesh was being commemorated in the cuneiform library of King Ashurbanipal II around 668 through 627 BC, the Lamassu already had developed into its classic form through several generations of Assyrian kings. The ancient Assyrian version of the Lamassu was usually a bull, but sometimes a lion, always with wings, and always with a human head. Cuneiform inscriptions convey standardized honorific praise of the king and reference to the protective qualities related to the Lamassu. Some of the historical texts refer simply to a winged bull, generally understood to be a statue of a Lamassu. At King Sennacherib's southwest palace at Nineveh, a set of wall panels commemorated the story of how a winged bull statue was quarried and brought to the palace around 700 to perhaps 692 BC. Among the best preserved examples of ancient Assyrian Lamassu were the guardians at the gates of various palaces and temples at Kalhu, also known as Nimrud, during the time of King Ashurnasirpal II, who reigned during 883 through 859 BC. Most of these Lamassu and their related constructions have been dated toward the end of this period, about 865 through 860 BC. The Lamassu are larger than life-sized, approximately double life-sized. They loom over the people who would approach toward them or pass alongside them, while the people made their way through the gateway that may have included other elements as well. When viewed directly from the front by a person first approaching the gateway, the Lamassu appear to be stationary, looking out and down upon the people who are approaching. When viewed from the side by a person walking through the gateway or passageway, the Lamassu appear to be in motion, walking outward. When viewed directly from the front, the Lamassu does not show the extra fifth leg that would contradict expectations of anatomy. The effect is possible only when the viewer as a person moves alongside the Lamassu. Each statue traditionally was made of a single block of stone without any multi-part joining. Such a statue weighed several tons. It was carved in relief and transported sometimes a long distance to the desired destination. The amount of detail is exquisite for working with a solid granite sculpture of this size. Some of the anatomy representation is impressively naturalistic. Some of the decorative elements add extra personality and allude to the cultural and ideological aspects of divine protection, linked to the king's authority and role as the protector of the land and the people. In my view, the Lamassu of ancient Assyria exemplify one form of a much larger tradition of protective entities at the places where people move between one context and another. In this case, the Lamassu became formalized as the statues that guarded the gateways at ancient Assyrian cities, temples, and palaces. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.